Should be good to go with that guy. Um, Here we go. It's the last week of preseason football. By the way, a lot of things happening in the MLB. Seattle's making that last little push right there to try and get the wild card spot to be in the playoffs. Julio Rodriguez is back, hitting home runs. We're no strangers to that. I think he's the first and youngest to hit the 2020 club. I'm probably wrong on that. Um, yeah, very interesting time in sports right now for the NFL coming up, and now with the MLB. Um, so with that said, let's jump into preseason week 3. Hard Knocks again. Um, very entertaining. Um, we can all agree, like I said previously, that the Cowboys ruined it. So let's start with the Cowboys. Tyron Smith, injured. Is this guy not the guy that's injured now every year and who they built their line around to help protect Dak after that massive contract and injury? The guy was a beast. Clearly, when Zeke was a rookie into his second year, and now I feel like this guy's always on the IR. Would he pay? Not worried about that. Probably just taking the proper precautions to make sure he's good. Yeah, see, he's playing week 1 probably. Who fucking cares about him? Penny, COVID. Seems like everybody in Seattle just got COVID. I don't know if these are excuses or what, but I have not seen as many teams or players have COVID right now than Seattle. I mean, I know it spreads like that, whatever, but from Drew Lock and on, it's like a never-ending battle out there. By the way, I think Drew Lock is the best quarterback on the roster, and I don't think he's great. I think that Jacob Eason has a stronger arm than everybody on the roster that's playing quarterback or trying to make the team and play quarterback. I also think that Jacob Eason can move, and he's a big dude, so, I'm not saying he's Josh Allen by any means or, a Big Ben type of guy who's going to have that career. I'm just saying he's kind of mobile for a big dude. Amendola. Just trying to get some news out here. I know that there's going to be a lot of preseason stuff going on. Who's starting where? I think Geno Smith is supposed to start the game, but I think he's only playing like 1 or 2 series in the first quarter, assuming there's 2 series for him. And then I believe the next move is to have Drew Lock play out the game. I don't know. I think because of the COVID issue and how much Jacob Eason got to play last game, I think Drew Lock is going to see a lot more time than Eason, if any. I don't know if Eason will see any time. Does that make sense? Probably will because I don't think Drew Lock's gonna play 3 quarters at that point. I don't know if it depends on how big of a gap it is for who's gonna be the starter. I think they're leaning towards Geno Smith. I think they would like Drew Lock to pan out. I'm gonna be honest. I think Drew Lock has never really had the best opportunity in Denver. Not that he's the guy, any and everywhere. But I also think that Drew Lock has the ability to go out and start on a team. Given if the team has a competent coach and scheme and all that kind of stuff, which I think the Seattle Seahawks do, clearly. You've seen Russ succeed there for, a pretty decent amount of time in his career. You got Metcalf, you got Lockett, now you got Font. Noah Font is a great tight end. I think Vic Fangio is just atrocious as a head coach. As a Chicago Bears, Chicago fan and Bears fan, then before it was Nagy, I was one that wanted Vic over Nagy. I actually wanted Vic to stay there because they were getting to that point with Vic's defense that was unreal at the time, getting Khalil Mack. Clearly Vic was gone before that happened, but if they were able to make that happen with Vic there, I think that defense would have been the number 1 defense in the league. I still believe that. I think with Mitch, too, at the time where he was essentially balling out, outside of Nagy being I mean, I don't even want to say with balling out with Nagy because he wasn't there for that yet. But I think Vic would have been a probably no better coach than Nagy. It's just it didn't work either way. Here we are. Um, but anyways, I think that with all that said, Drew Lock under Vic Fangio wasn't getting any opportunities. They had no run game. Their line wasn't really good. Their defense. I mean, Vic was a defensive coach as it is, so I understand. I just feel like that Drew Lock never got that shot, and there were games where he looked really good and like he can be a starting quarterback. I don't even remember who was catching the ball outside of Font, who actually wasn't, because at the time when him and Drew Lock were rookies, he wasn't playing as much. So I think it was like Cortland Sutton was their main number one. I could be wrong. I definitely am wrong. I forget who else was there. But anyways, with all that said, I feel like he never got a real feel for the NFL and an NFL scheme that works, like most quarterbacks. That's the gamble with getting a head coach. You're looking for an assistant coach under a head coach or a coaching staff that succeeds and has good recommendations from that coach, from the head coach and the staff, whatever. I'm just at that point where, like, I think Drew Lock can be pretty decent in Seattle. I think that he can get them to 6-7 wins. I don't think anything outside of that. I think I might be reaching with 6 or 7 wins. But if the defense is the defense that it always is, I think Drew just panics. He's not calm under pressure. He's always looking like as soon as someone's coming in front of him, he's looking right or left or behind at who's around him. He's not looking to get rid of the ball. He's looking to try and make a play. I'm no quarterback coach. I'm no quarterback. Played a little bit of football in my life. But I can tell you that when you look around and panic like that, the move was to throw the ball and get rid of it. The move isn't to always extend the play. But as a kid, playing backyard football, that's what it always was about. Extending the play, getting out, running, having a good time, throwing the ball, finding the guy that's open, or always trying to go deep. I don't think you always need to do that. I think that's something that these kids will need to kind of get better at. Everybody, and I'm saying there's even times when you're looking at Patrick Mahomes, the pocket's collapsing like last year, always looking, running, always looking to extend the play and get the ball downfield. Given he had the weapons to always do that, and Andy Reid always had like that safety blanket of a player to get the ball from the quarterback if that were to happen. I just feel like that a lot of these young quarterbacks, even Mahomes, like I was saying, he's a young quarterback that's having fun, trying to extend the play. He's mobile, he's fast, he's smart, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes it's like, dude, just throw the ball. Just throw the ball away, live to see another down. It's not always going to work. So Pete Carroll says Geno Smith is going to be the starter on Friday's game tomorrow. But again, they said that Drew Lock is probably going to play at least the second half, if not the second quarter, the third quarter, and a little bit of the fourth, because he's missed a game, so they need to see where he is. In my opinion, if he's not ready to go, which a lot of people get over COVID in a day or two, vaccinated or not, they get over COVID in a day or two. It's not. Some people have it worse, man. There's people that had the vaccine and they can't get out of bed for a week. There's people that don't have the vaccine and they don't have a symptom. You don't know. Everyone's body's different. That's the bottom line. If he says he's ready to go, you have to take his word for it. And I think that's the worst thing for sports sometimes, because even Luis Robert came back, and I guess he hurt his hand last night swinging the bat after his injury on his right hand. I'm trying to think of his follow-through. So, I mean, he said he was good to go. He wants to get out there. They're trying to hit that wild card spot. They're like 3.5 games back, whatever. So they're trying everything they can to, and he knows he's a crucial part of that team, whether it's in the field or hitting. You know, a 5-tool player like that, you need him in your lineup. But at the same time, there's people all over the world. I'm one of them that has had an injury and says I'm good to go, and that fucking lingers, and we make it worse for ourselves in the long term. If this was the World Series, if this was the wild card game, if this was whatever, and he's out there and he's like, I'm going to fight through it, whatever they're fucking shooting him up with, whatever, to get out there and play that game, I understand. But at this point, it's like, dude, you probably rushed it like they rushed every other player. I think the White Sox organization has some of the worst athletic fucking trainers and doctors, it seems like, because every player gets hurt, and then all they do is get hurt in fucking 2 weeks. Like, dude, if you're not 100%, just sit down. We need you for all the games. We don't need you for 10 games on and 10 games off. All players. I know it's not like a money thing either, because 90% of them are getting their checks every day, regardless if they're on the IR or not. Like, they're getting paid, so you know it's not a money thing. It's legit a thing. It's a mental thing where they think, I have to get out there and I have to help my team, or whatever the case is. And I get that, but again, look how it's fucked you up long term. Chase Young is going to start the year on IR. That sucks for Washington people. I like this, Sam Howell kid. Kid looks like he could be really good, actually. So Washington might, like I said last podcast, Washington might have found something decent in that NC quarterback. Chase Young not being there is like, dude, they're realistically not going to win the division, just, on paper. Anything can clearly happen, but I'm just saying, like, dude, chill out. I know he probably wants to get back out there, too. He's a fucking generational talent. You don't need anything else happening to him after the surgery he had. I know fans are bummed. What are you going to do? I mean, you should want him to be ready to go, again, long term. So, that's a tough one to swallow. I understand it. Tom Brady's back at football, okay? That's right. Tom Brady's back at football. He came back this week, started throwing the ball around, getting through drills, like he never left. Antonio Brown crying about it. Oh, it's this dude. AB has had more fucking chances than a lot of people in the NFL. Why are you mad that Tom Brady took a couple days off? If any player just said, I need a fucking week off for something that we don't know about, and he doesn't have to disclose that, if it's a family matter, nobody ever criticizes people for saying, oh, there's a family issue going on. Again, go back to, not again, but go back to when Brett Favre's father passed away. He didn't have to play the game, but he came out there and he fucking balled up. Played with more than a chip on his shoulder. The greatest quarterback we have ever seen decides, I need a fucking week off, or 2 weeks off, I should say, whatever, from right when camp was pretty much ending into the preseason. He needed a couple games off. Who cares? Like, people are already saying he's going to hang it up. I firmly believe it's going to be his last fucking year. But I believed it before all that happened, because he was planning on taking this year. He retired and then he unretired. Like, my point is, he is able to do what he needs to do to make sure that he's able to go all season long. And whatever family matter he had to take care of, he took care of, and he's back. He didn't skip all preseason. He didn't do this or that. He just needed for whatever reason it was, he took off. It's unlikely for him to do that. But again, AB had to come out and fucking cry, make something about him when dude. Here you go. Jacoby Brissett will start Saturday's preseason game against the Bears. We're going to see what he's got left in the tank. Not that he's washed or anything to me. I just think he's always hurt and stuff like that. I'm sure Rosen will play this game too. We finally got the update on Watson. He got the 11 games. It's what it is. Um, Clearly, he's not complaining about it. He's going to have some time to come back at the end of the season, depending on where the Browns are, and try and make a push maybe for the wild card spot, or maybe they're going to be really good. Deshaun Watson, to me, is the best quarterback on their roster. I think Rosen's another guy that never had a fair shot. Went to Arizona, bounced around, Dolphins, here, there, 65 different practice squads, backup quarterback, blah, blah, blah. He's finally on the Browns now, in which he was getting a shot pretty much because we all knew that Deshaun Watson wouldn't be playing at least 6 games, 6, 8, whatever games, and now it's official. And they were rolling with Brissett to be the number one right out the gate because they knew Deshaun wasn't going to be there But I'll tell you what, as long as he comes back and he's healthy and he's not fucking around and yada, 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 there's no doubt in my mind that Watson could get back to original form and be really good. And he's got Amari Cooper out there, depending on what they do with Kareem Hunt. He's got Nick Chubb, top 5, if not top 3 running back in the league. The Browns have the weapons, clearly. Baker was able to bring them where he got them. What, a playoff appearance for the first time and a playoff win for the first time since 1994. Like, Baker was able to do that, which Baker, we'll get on that subject right now. But again, Brissett will hit that preseason game. I'll get to we were just talking about. Tim Boyle and Blau. I don't know I have no comment on the Lions. I think they're going to win more games than the Bears. I think there's a good chance that they could possibly be even with the Vikings in the North. It's the Packers division. I don't think Tim Boyle or Blau are the answer as a backup. Sorry. But I also know that there's a good chance that they're going to be in a top 5 to 10 pick again. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who else is in that top 5 to 10 if the Lions do make that draft spot. I know their coach is not thinking we're tanking for a quarterback next year. There's 2 quarterbacks on the table right now that people want or that people are saying are going to be really good. I don't believe in the kid from OSU. I never do. Again, Fields. That kid at Bama, though, could be the real deal for all we know. The Lions are going to be in the market for a young quarterback to sit a year. They got Goff. His contract's atrocious. They don't have to worry about it really in a year or two. I don't think Goff is the guy. Clearly he wasn't in fucking Los Angeles. So I can't comment on them. I don't know what's going on with the Lions, really. I mean, Hard Knocks is great. They revived it. I don't like that Hard Knocks is doing another thing with the Cardinals in season. I think that shit's overplaying it. Anyways, there's Tom Brady. Baker. Baker is getting that chance yet again. I love that. I knew he was going there and he wasn't get traded for just to sit there behind Sam Darnold. He's a better quarterback than Sammy D. It's a fact. Outside of his injuries, he probably would still be on the Browns. Injuries and drama and this and that. He seems like he likes it in Carolina. It's nice all year round, for the most part. He's got one of the, if not the best running back in the league, in my opinion, when he's healthy. He's got DJ Moore, easy 1,000-yard season again. He's got Robbie Anderson. He's got Chuba Hubbard. He's got an offensive line that's kind of been slowly being pieced together, I think, in the past couple of years. From a buddy of mine that talks, he's a big Panthers fan. So they like kind of were getting those, figuring out those puzzle pieces in a sense. He's also got Terrence Marshall Jr., the wide receiver, big fucking wide receiver. I forgot who the tight end is. It's not Logan Thomas, I don't think. I think he's on Washington. But anyways, you got a lot of good things happening, and the NFL is starting to heat up. You got those final cuts coming out. We finally are a week from today, I believe. No, 2 weeks from today is the first kickoff, right? Yeah, it's Thursday, August 25th. I thought so, yeah, because then you got Labor Day, and then the following, that Thursday after Labor Day is week 1. Drafting tomorrow. I got my little cheat sheet on my phone. Fantasy's kind of changing. You got these injuries and stuff like that happening all the time. You got people getting cut that you were like, we just drafted him, or he was a rookie last year. Well, they suck. Clearly, they're better than me. But I'm just saying, you're fucking out. Very excited for a lot of these. Yes, I saw this too. Mike Gesicki, trade rumors. I think that the media is just fishing for more bullshit. Gesicki's probably trying to get paid. To me, he's a top 10 tight end. The year before, I believe he was a top 5. Like, he was the only guy Tua or Fitz were throwing the ball to, because they didn't have Waddle at the time. So it was all about Gesicki. He feels disrespected. He feels that he should get more money or a bigger contract, whatever it may be. He's not some 30-year-old tight end. He's not Gronk. Not saying that Gronk is bad at his age either. Gronk was fucking still tanking dudes. I'm just saying, I think they're reaching here. I don't own the rights to any of this stuff, so don't get me wrong, NFL. I love that, thanks for fucking with the news and stuff. I'm just saying, Gesicki's young enough to where he deserves a little bit better of a contract, maybe like a 2 to 4 years, 2, 3, 4 year contract of some money and some guarantee on the guaranteeing contracts, the Lamar Jackson shit. I made a post saying that is bullshit. He doesn't deserve it, this and that. Let's explain that real quick for the fucking haters. I don't think Kyler deserved it. I don't. I get the philosophy of the Lions. Again, signing Matthew Stafford to an unreal contract. He deserved it. He's literally broke his back for that team multiple times. He held records. He did this. He did that. He brought them every time. Anytime they were winning games, it was because of him. It wasn't because of the defense. It wasn't because of a running back was great. They drafted 10 running backs in the past 3 years. It was Matthew Stafford. He was the most underrated best quarterback in the league. He was a top 5 quarterback in the league for years, and no one wanted to admit it. Again, as a Chicago fan, as a Chicago, born kid, not even Chicago, but, Illinois, we pay attention to these teams. I can't deny Aaron Rodgers is arguably the best quarterback in the league. I've thought that for probably 5 years now. Like, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever, but if you take Tom Brady and you replace him with Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots, I think Aaron Rodgers has the same amount of Super Bowls, if not more, or close to the same that Tom had. I think Aaron Rodgers is a more athletic quarterback than Tom Brady, and they're on that same level of how good they are. But I'm just saying, as a fan in Chicago, you can't sit here and say Aaron Rodgers sucks. He's a fucking awesome. And I hate the Packers. And I don't want to give any credit. Fuck them. But it's just the fact. Like, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers. I can't even hate on Kirk Cousins. I think I think the whole Kirk Cousins story is fucking bizarre, and he's getting way too much money. But again, last year he fucking threw like 4 interceptions all year. Nobody else was close to him. 4. I mean, I think Brady threw 2 in a game. That's unbelievable. And he only had Justin Jefferson and Thielen for I think Thielen played maybe 10 to 12 games. I don't think he played every game. Justin Jefferson, him. He's had Delvin Cook in and out of the lineup. Like, they've had to make it work. I don't even know who their tight end is. Irv Smith Marset, right? I think that's maybe their tight end. You know what? Like he had Kyle Rudolph. Like it's just Kirk can play, but I feel like when it comes down to it, when it's crunch time, he can't. When I was getting back to Tom Brady, by the way, when I'm talking about him missing, it didn't really matter. Who knows? For all we know, they were like, Tom, take your time. We got to know what we have in Kyle Trask. Because if this is your last year, like you anticipated last year to be yours, and not tell us, we're trying to be prepared for the future as well as right now so we can win another Super Bowl before you do head out. You got to give all the respect to the Tampa Bay franchise for not fussing about what happened with Tom Brady. I get it. He's the fucking GOAT, whatever. They came out, Kyle Trask doesn't look terrible. My buddy's a huge Florida fan. I asked him, is he worth an investment? Is he worth looking into? He said Trask isn't god-awful, but he's not good. What that tells me is he's in the NFL right now. He's on a rookie contract. He's in Tampa Bay. He's learning from the greatest quarterback ever, in my opinion. There's something in Kyle Trask that they like. He's going to be the number 2. I think not Mike Glenn, I forget who their other quarterback is, but Kyle Trask could be fucking the truth for all we know in a year or 2 or whatever the case may be. Like, a young kid coming out of Florida, if he stays there, he's going to look to get as good as he can, better and better each year behind the guy that you couldn't pay for a better education from. Roquan Smith, he said, fuck it, I'm playing. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do everything I can to have a Pro Bowl season and get that fucking paycheck. And then the Bears are going to be embarrassed because they didn't keep me around. They want to fuck with me. They want to franchise tag me next year. Whatever. My opinion, good for you. Go make your fucking paper. You deserve it. Bears are idiots. Your number 1 priority right now should be re-signing him at his young age. But they won't because they don't. The owners are fucking clowns, morons. And Poles just realized he took a job that's almost impossible. He didn't. If he stayed if Poles was going to be the Steelers GM or whatever, he would have all the room in the world to do whatever he needed to make sure they fucking won or were winning or contending every single year because the fucking checkbook is open and it's ready to go. Unfortunately, Chicago doesn't do that. Chicago knows if they suck, people are still going to go fucking watch football. If they suck, people are still going to go watch the White Sox, even if it's for fucking $10 and there's only 2,000 people in there. It doesn't matter here. Pittsburgh, they spend the money. They have the fan base. They don't want to see empty seats. Whether it's the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Pirates, or the fucking Steelers. That's just how I see it. That's how I'm viewing it. Whatever else everyone wants to say, cool. Like, that's their opinions. This is my opinion. I just know that the Bears will never open that checkbook with this fucking idiot ownership. And they're going to try and move now to another place. They're going to have to get a bunch of money. I hope they do move from where they are. I hope the city of Chicago faces a lot of money in losses. A lot of losses in money. And maybe the fucking new owners, assuming they do sell, if they were to, go out and spend money and build a team and put fans in the seats for a long time and compete. I was getting off subject with something else. Forgot. Multiple fights in the Rams-Bengals. Love it. Shit's getting heated. The Roquan Smith thing, go get your money. You're your own agent. If you get hurt, it's on you. Could have signed something. I think if anything though, he's gonna ball out. He's gonna look like a stud out there. By the trade deadline, the Bears will trade him when his value is at an all-time high. Hopefully getting between a first and a second round pick because they anticipated like just a third round for him right now. I couldn't see that. especially at a 25-year-old. Um, but again, if they come out here and sign him, so be it. They're trying to move in the right direction. But I'm telling you right now, Poles is sitting there thinking, why did I take this job? I don't have any money. They won't give me any money to spend. All they want me to do is try and draft a winning team. Like this ain't 1985. That doesn't. It's hard. You see other players trying to get that guaranteed contract, like I was saying, like Lamar Jackson. And again, I don't think Lamar Jackson is terrible. I think he's a hell of a talent. I still don't believe in his arm completely, which a lot of people don't. And I mean, you can see it kind of in games where he thinks that's going to be like, if you watch Mahomes or any of these elite quarterbacks, I want to call them elite. I will put Mahomes in that category. He's sitting there, his shoulders back. It's not, and I get that that's the way you're comfortable throwing the ball or the way you've been. But when you come into the NFL, they're trying to get the best trainers, the best coaches, the best staff around you that money can buy to evolve your game into the next phase. And when you don't do that, I feel like it's more of a personal thing versus like a talent thing. Because I think if he literally would sit in the pocket or something like that, Lamar would be able to just unload on somebody. The other issue is I understand other quarterbacks are getting this money. They're setting that new high. The cap is worth X amount now versus this and that. And I'm 100. I think football's the number 2 sport to me, as I like hockey more than anything. But at the same time, I think that in the NFL, it's fucking billions of dollars now. NBA's, MLB's. The NHL's only kind of doing this because it was before anybody else. So the NHL was already down here. It actually was MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL. Then the NFL went boom. NBA went boom. The MLB went boom. NHL went boom. And now the MLB's down. I think it's more of whoever's running the MLB, promotions, stuff like that. I'm not talking about commissioners and all that. I'm talking about, like, I think it's all kind of a scheme. I think they're all, like, politically in a party together. Okay, let's get the NFL going. We'll make a shitload of money on it. We'll cap out. If there's a lockout, whatever happens, then the next guy to come up is going to be this, which the NBA ran, the NHL ran back when the Winter Olympics and stuff were going on. What, like 2000, between 2008 and like 15, that was like a kind of NHL peak, and then the MLB was always number 1, America's sport, and then after that, I feel like it kind of started trailing. The NHL started dumping off. NBA started pumping during, clearly like 2018. Luka really helped that, the LeBron shit, going to the Lakers. The NBA started really getting all the publicity, all the media, everything like that. And then the MLB started tanking a little bit. NHL was down already because it already ran. And then the NFL started, boom, like 2018, 2019, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, like pump and putting all this money into it. And people were going and enjoying it. But here's the other thing. We lived in a time where sports have changed. Like my generation has already seen it evolve like 3 or 4 times every sport. So, like, I mean, watching the Cardinals as a kid, the White Sox sucked outside of the World Series we had with the best postseason record ever. Like, the Cardinals were fucking running. Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, Scott Rowland, Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter, Molina, all these guys, like, really were bringing it out there. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, those years, that was baseball, baby. We wanted to see home runs. I didn't give a fuck if they were on steroids, dude. They were hitting bombs. They were in 500 fucking trillion yards of home runs. Every home run in the San Francisco Stadium by Barry Bonds hit the water, out of the park. And everybody else that was juicing, Canseco, all these guys were, baseball was fucking awesome. You were number one because you were fucking doing what people wanted. Sure, we love to see a good fucking pitching battle, but a lot of people are out here to see home runs. I think what happened was COVID, they juiced the balls. MLB was the only sport going. It started kind of getting that rise of fame again. But once the NBA did the bubble, and once the NFL started doing the COVID stuff and letting people go to games and fans were able to go, it was game over. Like, they were like, all right, this shit don't matter anymore. Let's put people in the stands. Who gives a fuck? Let them worry about it. That's how it should be. That's literally how life should be. With all that said, everything ran. I think the NFL's going to... I don't think the NFL's peaked yet. I think it's going to fucking peak way more than it has now. NBA continues to decline because it has been, and there's other countries that are like, oh, we don't like LeBron James now and this and that, or, Steph Curry's like cultured in the fact that like crypto and NFTs and stuff like that, like they're trying to branch out and reach everybody with certain players, but then when some players don't want to drink the Kool-Aid and speak about things that maybe they shouldn't or they're not experts in, but like that's their belief and people tell you to shut up, those things fucking happen. That really did not help the NBA. But the NBA will always be the NBA. As long as LeBron is a Laker, which is why they paid him that money, people will fill those seats in LA. If you look at it this way, the NBA is going to kind of trail off a little bit. I think the NHL will take off a little bit more, basically because ESPN deals and stuff like that, and they're back on TV, they're back being promoted. They had more views the past like year in the postseason than they've had since the Olympic time, I believe. It's not a fact, but it has been more than it's been in like 10 years. So, with all that said, NFL's going to keep pumping here. Lamar's going to get his money. And the reason why I think he's going to get that money is because, like I said before, as everybody in Chicago said, Stafford's deal looked stupid at that time. But everybody said, listen, in 3 years, that deal is going to be cheaper than anybody else's deal. It didn't happen in 3 years. It happened a couple of years after that when Patrick Mahomes wins a Super Bowl and Jimmy Garoppolo gets like $30 million a year. Matthew Stafford was better than most of these other quarterbacks that were starting to get paid a lot of money. The Detroit Lions just were too incompetent to be able to fucking put a franchise together around the guy that literally has been there busting his back, his fingers, his legs, whatever, for X amount of years with his Hall of Fame fucking wide receiver, that, Calvin Johnson. I'm just at that point where Kyler doesn't deserve the contract to me. He's also got a terrible head coach some people want to call him the best young quarterback in the NFL as his fucking head coach or his quarterback in college. So if he couldn't win with Mahomes, what is Arizona doing trying to win with the same coach who couldn't do that, now with a different player who is not, to me, on Patrick Mahomes' level? Kyler's a fucking hell of an athlete. He has a better arm to me, and I believe Kyler reads defenses better. He just has had a terrible line and fucking staff. I think if you put Kyler on the Ravens, he has a better record, better stats, maybe 2 postseason wins over Lamar. The whole point of my post was Kyler got more than he should have. Lamar's going to go after more because he's an MVP, this, that, whatever. And he has better accolades than Kyler. Kyler was thrown into the fire right away. Lamar got to sit down. I think, personally, if they sign Lamar to a stupid deal that it's almost like, 70 to 90% fully guaranteed, they're going to be on the hook for a terrible contract again with a quarterback that can't get them past the first round of the playoffs. Unlike the last guy they did that with, Joe Flacco, who had a Super Bowl and got the money he was deserved because he literally carried the team. I mean, given they had a fucking unreal defense and everything. But Joe Flacco balled. And he got that contract with the Super Bowl. Once they gave him that contract, he wasn't the same fucking Joe Flacco anymore, given everybody started leaving and shit like that. He still had Ray Lewis in the defense Ravens always been a defensive team. It's just a fact. Lamar has had better games that he's lost than games he's won. He's had really shitty games that they've won based on the defense and the coaching and the scheme. I love Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh's a great coach, and I wanted, if he were to leave, when everything was going on with him, I wanted him to be the Bears coach if it were possible, or his brother instead of Michigan. Either way, I was happy he went to Michigan. I just think that the Lamar contract is going to bite them in the ass, and there's Ravens fans that were DMing me, dude, yeah, I think so too. Huntley, I'll roll with him, someone said. Another person said, hey, man, Huntley's on a cheaper contract, and he does the same amount of shit that Lamar does. I wouldn't mind. So a couple people were fine with Huntley being their quarterback, it seemed. I don't think Huntley's great. I don't think I've seen enough. I'm not going to judge him off fucking 5 preseason games or, I think Lamar's a better talent than Huntley. But these quarterbacks are going to be getting paid a lot. And if Herbert and Burrow and these kids go do what they've been doing the past couple of years, maybe the Chargers make it to the playoffs and win a playoff game, lose the next, but they're taking that next step with that quarterback, just like Joe Burrow just made it to a Super Bowl after a torn ACL and literally carried that team on his back all season long with Jamar Chase. Mixon had a good year. The offense was really clicking last year. If that happens again and Burrow's looking like who he did last year and just fucking walking right down into the Super Bowl, loses again, or even the division championship game, they're going to sign Burrow to more money than Ravens are going to sign Lamar Jackson to. And it's going to be fully fucking guaranteed easily versus Kyler and everybody else. And then this guy's going to fucking cry and that guy's going to cry. My issue with it all is the fans are going to be the ones that have to pay for it because they're going to raise ticket sale prices, blah, 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 blah. I understand that. You're out there trying to fucking see a show as it is. So, yeah. If I want to go see Led Zeppelin, the fucking OG band, and it's going to cost me $600 for the worst seats and $2,000 for floor seats or whatever, stage area, I can't complain. I'm trying to see the greatest band maybe of all time. That's the fucking cost for them. For me to go see them. That's the entertainment I'm paying for. I understand that. I'm not upset about that by any means. But not everyone's going to be able to go afford games anymore. Or logically think, why am I going to go sit nosebleeds for $200? From... as a season ticket holder, it's going to cost you an average of $200 for one ticket in the nosebleeds. Why am I going to go spend that now? I was just spending $50 on that a year ago. Oh, because he needed a paycheck. Oh, he needed a fucking boost. It will be more of a luxury game with who's going to see these, unless you're longtime season holders and whatever breaks you're going to get, rather than inviting everybody to go see something, which will cause a lockout. That, to me, is the peak is when the NFL's up there and all these players are getting that money. Guaranteed. Teams start getting, like the Watson thing, dude. He's guaranteed. Look what happened. The Texans literally shot themselves in the foot. Now, did they think he was going to go do this? I don't think so. Did they sabotage him as well? Yes. Maybe they realized we fucking overpaid for him and we're not going to be able to do things that we want to hear. We got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Our head coach destroyed us. Our GM destroyed us. Everybody destroyed this franchise. The owner's probably sitting there going like, what the fuck, dude? And now I'm guaranteeing this guy? That's all I'm saying. It's going to fucking bite someone in the ass, and I have a feeling it's going to be us fans. But the next sport will run up, and we'll just keep going around and around, baby. Select Football, I'm breaking that tonight. Just came out. I love Select. I know it's a lot of, if not all on sticker autos, but the tie-dyes and the zebras and the tigers and shit like that. I mean, I get wet over it. So we're going to break that shit tonight. Hopefully some big boys in there. And be the last break I do. unless someone's going to find me some cheaper boxes, but it's getting kind of hard filling where we're at now, and I only got 2 boxes. I can't control that. They're fucking $16 plus $100 from most places. People are buying it. People are ripping it. People are hitting big. They're going to fucking cash out. They're going to hit a big Mac Jones or a big fucking Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen or Mahomes. There's going to be one-on-ones and autos and all these things pulled, and people are going to make out. Those are the people that are going to keep ripping. They're going to keep collecting. The people that want to collect the rookie class are going to keep ripping and keep collecting. That's just the way it is. I still think Matt Ryan and the Colts are going to be really fucking good this year, and I think it could be his year, as much as I hate to say it. But I also think Sam Ehlinger is a guy to watch, because if Matt Ryan, like Tom Brady, are done soon, those guys are looking pretty decent right now. They could be a decent little pickup and one to forget about, but I also think that you let the market kind of calm down on these bitches and maybe wait to see what happens in, 3 months. When everything calms down, optic and all that shit, you could probably fucking scoop a Jacob Eason or a Drew Lock for $20, like an auto, that people were selling for hundreds before. So just, kind of keep your pockets tight for a minute. Fantasy this week, I got my cheat sheet. I'm ready to go. We got the live draft on Memorial Day weekend. I got that draft online, and we play a keeper league in both. So I got some nice keepers, I think, that are ready to go, and I got some other guys that I'm really excited to try and draft this year for potential keeper, because if all goes well, and I'm still keeping my Justin Jefferson pick at 14. I think I'd be a fool not to. I think that I can find a good rookie, 2 of them, that I like as a sneaky play to draft really late for a keeper next year and the year after that. So, all right, guys, here we go. We're almost ready. It's almost opening week for football. Time to kick it off, and later.